Hey everyone, Mike Miller with the Herald Times coming to you with IU basketball columnist Jeremy Price. We're previewing Saturday's 12:38 tip-off on CBS, Indiana versus Louisville up at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The first in a three-game series with the Cardinals. IU and Louisville will be on this neutral floor this year, next year at Louisville, I believe, and then 2 years from now in Bloomington. So a series with a team from Kentucky, not the one everyone probably wants to see, but this will do. This will do. This is the I guess this would be the fourth and final of the marquee non-conference games. A little quirky, starting a couple days after the Big Ten opener, which we will discuss briefly. But another good opportunity for Indiana to not only get a good win, but get back on track against a team that certainly they should be able to get up for. And a team that can challenge them in some very unique ways.
Yeah, it's a really interesting game, and a game that really looks a lot different on the schedule now than it probably did a couple of weeks ago, really, when you think about it. Mm-hmm. You know, at that point, everything was looking good. Then Indiana loses the non-conference game to Butler, and Louisville still looks like, well, that'd still be sort of a gravy game on top of everything. And now with opening the Big Ten season with the stumble against Nebraska, sort of puts a little more added importance, if not for an actual win, then at least for a quality performance for this Indiana team.
I've seen some clips where Rick Pitino basically says they're not playing very good defense right now, but that is the ultimate in coach speak. I think they're ranked number one in adjusted defensive efficiency in KenPom right now. Always a problem for teams, given all the different ways they can play, the different things they're going to throw at you, the pressures, just the way they try to really get you in a funk in the half-court setting. In a way, a little bit of shades of North Carolina team Indiana's already seen, just with some of the length and size, and again, not a great perimeter shooting team, but there's definitely some ways that Indiana's going to be challenged in this game, and also I think just Indiana itself is kind of challenging itself, just coming off that disappointing loss against Nebraska the other day. Tom Crean talked today a lot about mindset and how mindset can affect a lot of things like they did against Nebraska.
Yeah, and then this team, obviously, really we've seen that all year long. When they've come out with the right mindset against a Kansas or a North Carolina, everything goes pretty well. When they come out with the wrong mindset against a Fort Wayne, against a Nebraska, not so well. So that's definitely a key component for this team. And as for Louisville, a not very good Louisville defense is still a pretty good defense by most people's standards.
So pretty good.
And you're talking about that defense going up against an Indiana team that has really, by and large, struggled for not just this year, but going back a ways to limit those turnover issues. Mm-hmm. This is a team that's going to bring those to the forefront by putting pressure on you. But on the flip side, for Indiana, maybe it's better that they're facing a team that's going to actually pressure them in some ways and force them to move the ball a little more, because most of the turnover mistakes, especially against Nebraska, was not an issue of being pressured or making mistakes under pressure, but simply making bad decisions, driving into bad places, sometimes just being too unselfish and trying to make an extra play that wasn't there instead of taking the opportunity that they had. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
It'll be interesting also to see whether Juwan Morgan plays, and if he does, how much, after suffering what Tom Crean characterized as a pretty deep bruise on the other night, Wednesday night against Nebraska, getting essentially pulled to the court by Jordy. Oh gosh, am I going to have to pronounce this?
Yes.
Nebraska player.
Chimanga, I think, is
I should have come in here ready to go with that name, but I did not. Failure on my part. Anyway, Juwan Morgan is apparently doing much better, at least better. It's right now characterized as Tom Crean anticipates that he will play, but he's not yet ready to say 100% will play. But that's certainly that's huge, I guess, against any team, but especially against Louisville, just to have a guy like that coming off your bench, doing the things he does, and really, I mean, he's probably one of your better ball handlers too, when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team. Louisville can put a lot of different lineups on the floor, whether they're playing big, playing small. Indiana's going to have to be able to match that or counter that in some way. And a guy like Juwan Morgan, with his versatility, is critical to that aspect. I mean, this is a game that's Juwan Morgan, OG Anunoby centric for Indiana. I think those guys need to play well at both ends of the floor for Indiana to have success in this kind of game.
Hey, Bill Raftery will be on the call too, so a little
onions.
You'll enjoy the TV broadcast if you're not up there with us in Indianapolis tomorrow. 12:38 official tip-off on CBS. We will regroup after the game, talk about it there.
Yes.
See you then.